Live going.
Hello.
Ding!
Welcome. Welcome,
It's
welcome,
8
welcome.
o'clock on Sunday evening.
It's been a
Oh,
beautiful, beautiful day.
yeah, except for I wasn't outside very much, just to unload the car. Well, load and unload the car.
Right. Well,
Um,
early in the afternoon, it wasn't that great. It kind of morphed into something that was much nicer.
yeah, it was humid. When I got home, I got spent some time out in the yard and everything, so that was nice. Um, we had our butterfly experience retreat weekend. It's amazing how much stuff I schlepp back and forth.
Yeah.
For that. And then I'm, closing up the place, and I looked in the refrigerator. There's all this food. I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do with all of this?
Grocery shopping.
So, yeah, well, so Shannon took some, Linda took some, I took some. We threw some out. Anyways, we had a beautiful, powerful, wonderful weekend. As always, it's so hard to come home. You get
Back
so
to reality.
accustomed to, yes, you get so accustomed to that being your life for those couple days that when Sunday starts coming, you're like, oh, this isn't really my life. I really have to go home.
We were talking about how nice it would be to do it for a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a 5-day once. A week would be wonderful. I'll
Yeah.
have to look into that. All right. So enough of that.
Yes.
It'd be nice to hear from all of you. How was your day? How was your weekend? Anything wonderful? Anything not so wonderful? And remember, our topic is ghosts are people too. So your questions and comments on that here on the
Are
chat
appreciated.
are appreciated.
Yes.
And it takes us places that we don't always think of. Everybody, all of us together exploring these topics is what makes it so fascinating, because my little hamster in my brain, is going spinning one way, and Wendy's hamster is spinning a different way. So
I have a hamster. Thought it was a ferret.
oh, okay, well, Wendy's ferret, my hamster, whatever you got
I'm just joking.
running on the wheel in your brain. So all those different wheels. I apologize. I know I'm a little low key today, but you'll have to forgive me. I ran a lot of energy this weekend. We did a lot of heavy work, and it was beautiful and wonderful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I am a little tired. But still ready to roll. So, healing. We'll be doing our healing. Oh, and we don't have to wait for commercial.
I know, right?
It's hard to remember which one. Okay, this one I don't have to worry about commercials. We can go ahead and do the healing now.
Right.
What do we need to say before we get going?
We need to say that don't have any expectations, to relax, whether you're laying down or sitting up. Unclench your jaw. Invite in your loved ones, whether they be living or not living, and close your eyes. Make it the experience internal. Enjoy.
Yeah. Receive. It'll go flow where it needs to flow, regardless of whether you notice it or not. If you have any questions, comments, of course, post those on the chat. And again, when we get to the question, the Q&A portion, or at anytime ever, and I say something that's not clear to you, go ahead and ask me to clarify. If Wendy says something that's confusing, ask her too.
That's right. Before you go off and do your thing and scrolls down here, Roy said we both look very nice, so thank you, Roy. And,
Roy.
And Diane said that she completed her flower additions in her fairy garden today. In a beautiful day.
Oh, what a beautiful day to do it too. Yeah, and just in time, now that summer's coming and we have more areas to go and play. I wonder what they do in the winter? We didn't ask that when we did the fairies thing. That'd be fun to learn about, like, what do they
That
do in
would
the
be a good.
winter?
I wondered that
Yeah.
too. Did they hibernate or do they just not care? You know, because in the
Yeah.
Tinkerbell movie they have summer fairies and winter fairies, and
Yeah.
is it real?
We'll have to do that topic again sometime and
I
learn
know.
about their life. Do they have wedding ceremonies? Do they go to school?
Right.
What their life is like. Yeah, the life of a fairy. Write that down. Life of a fairy.
I'm writing it down.
Or fairy civilization or something. All right, so I will be going off screen. I will be tapping into source by saying a prayer, centering myself, grounding myself, which allows, well, if source wants to push the energy through me, I guess I don't have a whole lot of say, but by allowing and setting the intention helps it flow better, and you all will receive it. And again, I'll be off screen only because I prefer to do it that way. So it will be silent. You won't hear anything. So when you see me come back, then you know, or when you hear me, because again, we want you to be having your eyes closed for that internal, to make it more internal. You're not distracted by things that your eyeballs are looking at, because we want you to be in your body and present with yourself. So if there are no questions, off we go. Okay. Back.
We're back.
We're back. So I said I was going to be silent, but I don't know, maybe you heard the birds and the fountain next door and my chime. So maybe it wasn't completely silent. All soft, nice sound. Oh, okay.
All right.
How'd you feel, Wendy?
You know, I started off just being so at peace. Like it was just just peace. And then I started feeling wavy. You know, like a little bit of ooh, but very also subtle and very peaceful. Let's see, I got a comment that just popped up here. I hear wind in a cave and voices, deep male voices, but I can't understand them, like echoes.
Hold on. Okay, Dave. It's a meeting. There was a meeting. Those male voices were in a meeting, and it's for you, not yet, but eventually you will be able to hear the conversation. This was an awareness. Hello, this is happening. This is something for you to start working towards. So in your meditations, in your, in your journey work, start getting closer to that meeting. It's like in a cave or something. It's not like in a house or a, it feels very primal. You know, it's not. It's interesting. I don't want to say too much because you need to experience it for yourself, and I don't want to like put the idea in your head that it's a cave. It just feels very. Anyway, you'll see. We'd love to hear back when you figure it out, when you get that explored.
Roy said that he also heard wind in a cave. So that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a page full of questions, and we've got some questions here. So are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me find the first one here now because it would scroll down. Can spirits around take our energy?
Okay. We need to clarify between a spirit. Are they talking about a ghost or are they talking about a spirit? A ghost is a spirit, but a spirit is not necessarily a ghost. So let's, you know what, this is good. Let's define what we're talking about. The topic is ghosts, about ghosts. Ghosts are people too. Because a ghost is somebody who's been in human form, who's dropped their bag of bones, dropped their bones, and is now living, continuing to exist, you know, still living. You don't die, your body dies, but you don't. You still exist, you live, but still connected to Earth, has not crossed that second veil and gone on to, you know, heaven or other realms or whatever you want to call it. They're stuck on Earth for whatever reason. So they are in spirit form, so you could call them a spirit, yes. But they are a specific type of spirit in that they are a ghost, in that they are somebody that was in human form who has stayed stuck. Once you cross that second veil, you are not a ghost anymore. But there are beings that are in spirit that are not ghosts, that were not ever human. Some were, some weren't. So when you say, do spirits, yes, the answer is yes. Are you asking about ghosts in particular? Yes, that is also a yes. And it's mostly driven, the deciding factors are mostly in your control. So things that get out of your head, like alcohol and drugs and depression and all kinds of things that you're out of balance, that makes you more susceptible. So obviously some things are less in your control than others, and we obviously, some of us have, chemical imbalances and all that kind of stuff. But more has to do with us than with them. Except for obviously, so the same, like if you have 100 things that you know in your neighborhood, and maybe 1% of those people are not nice, 10% are weird, 10% are, crazy, whatever you want to say. The same thing carries over to ghosts. I mean, some are nice, some are crazy, some don't care, some are malevolent, some are whatever. So obviously, a nice being isn't going to malevolently try to attach to you. They might attach to you because they love you or they're attracted to you. So anyway, I'm glad you posted that question with the word spirit so that we could clarify what we're talking about. And we can do both, obviously.
Because honestly, I didn't write it down, but that was what I wanted to say first. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's questions, and and I got caught up in the moment. So it worked out perfect.
Okay, good.
When Linda asks, and again, it's not clarified, spirits or ghosts, are we connected to just certain spirits?
You have an eternal connection to people that were in your life, this life, other lives. If you've been touched, entangled with somebody, you are entangled with them eternally. You may not see them for eons, but you are eternally entangled. Your family members that have passed on tend to be more interested in you than others, but that's not a strict rule. There are ghosts and beings that are, humans that are no longer ghosts, that are, have carried on moved on, that are attracted to you for whatever reason. Maybe you remind them of somebody. Maybe you were their neighbor. Maybe, well, then that's the same. But energetically, so if you how we talk about how you're attracted to somebody, and maybe you don't know what it is about them, but there's just something about them that attracts you to them. That's an energetic connection. So when you're in the spirit world, you can that's much easier to see. So maybe they're just attracted to you. You may not have ever met them, in human form.
Do you think that, along that line of thinking, do you think that sometimes it could be you're just in a place and they look over and it's like, oh, shiny,
Yes.
I like that. I got to be close.
Yeah, we have somebody that's on our call sometimes. I don't know if she's on tonight, but we went to her home. She had a lot of ghost activity in her home, and the first one, there were so many, but the first, I believe it was the first one that we worked with, was a male, and he had seen her, like she was like walking down the street, and he saw her and was like, oh, I kind of like her. So he followed her home, went home with her. Then he got to her home, and he's like, ooh, because she lived with her sister. He's like, ooh, 2 women. 4. So he didn't know her. He just saw her and she's walking down the street. And so, and how's she going to stop him? She can't see him, right?
Right.
If you're a ghost, you don't know, I'm going to go home with that person. Oh, I like that house. I want to live in that one.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can do to help them?
Of course. Pray for them, talk to them. Way back years ago, let's see, Colton was like, so this is like 20 years ago. I didn't know anything about how to do this kind of stuff at all. But I knew there was a ghost in the house, and that's a long story. It involves all kind. It's a kind of a cool story, actually. But I just sat and talked to her because I didn't know what else to do, and I figured, I know that you're afraid to continue on, because why would you still be here? Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't trust that there is more, that there is a heaven, that there is someplace beyond this. So I suggested her to go to the Holy Land. Because in my mind, I'm thinking there's got to be lots of, high-powered spirits hanging around the Holy Land. So I thought, I'm like, that Israel exists. That is a real place. So go there and you know, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, she'll go there and then somebody who knows what they're doing talk to her because I don't know what I'm doing. And years later, maybe 3-4 years later, I don't remember, I was doing something and she showed up and she gave me a hug and said thank you. So she had gone. She had gone to the Holy Land and she had, you know, met up with whoever she met up with and was able to continue on. So, you know, you can just talk to them gently, suggest, you know, if you have a feel for who they are or what their might be, their concerns might be, kind of address them.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you know, have any idea what the concern is, again, pray for them or just talk to them nicely. Say, hey, you know, God loves you. You know, invite an angel or spirit to come in and talk to them. You know, say, hey, I'll sit here with you while this spirit comes and helps you. You know, whatever feels right for you. And if it feels too much, like you don't want to directly engage again, then just pray for them and just say, ask your guides. Say to your own guides, say, hey guys, I am uncomfortable with this. I don't know what to do here. Would you please take care of this? Would you please help this person? Would you please find somebody who can help this person? And they'll help you. That's the wonderful thing about our guides. The more that you're specific in what you want from them, the better able they're able to do it. The more clear you are, the more permission you give them, the more they can do.
That's true. Well, along that, you kind of led perfectly into one of my questions is what is the most interesting thing a ghost has ever said to you?
The most interesting thing. Oh, I'd have to go through lots of stories. Let me think. I really enjoyed. Patty and I, my Patty, I don't know if she's on tonight. We went to a forest preserve, and we came across a group, a community of ghosts hanging out in the woods. And I found that, you know, there's typically, I mean, the communities I see, there typically is like a leader guy, kind of somebody that everybody follows, or that, you know, kind of keeps everybody in, you know, like the mayor or the whatever, like we would have here. And this man was very gentle, and he was only the leader because he was so honest and kind and trustworthy, and that they wanted him. He wasn't into power or anything. He only did it because he wanted to keep things smooth and knew that he was, you know, kind of by default the best choice. Anyway, so I'm like, the others would not go without him, and he's like, I'm waiting for my daughter. I don't want to go without my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, so, you know, where is she? He said, well, you know, during the Civil War, we got separated, and I don't know where she is, and so I don't want to go until I find her and we can go together. And I'm thinking, the Civil War?
Yeah.
You don't know what year it is, do you? And he's like, no. And I'm thinking, gosh. Do you remember how it was weird for us when it was turning the year 2000?
Yes.
You know how everybody was all freaked out. Oh my gosh, it's 2000. I'm thinking, this guy passed in the 1800s. How weird is it going to be for him? It's past the year 2000, you know? So he's like, what year is it? I said, I'm like, it's 2013 or 12 or whatever. I don't remember what it was. I just kind of very calmly, just softly just said it. And he just kind of sat with it for a little bit. Okay. All right. And then he understood, because my whole thing was, well, clearly your daughter's long gone.
Right.
So he you know, he realized that too. He was like, oh. And as this was happening, she showed up. And she had crossed over. She was not a ghost anymore. So she came from her heavenly home, or whatever you want to call it. And she came and she greeted him. And of course, he was so happy to see her. And so then he went with her. And then all the others went along as well. That was very cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
Oh, and then there was the guy with there's so many stories. Okay,
All right.
you wanted one,
All right.
so I gave you
okay.
one.
So, Are ghosts only active at night?
Oh no. Oh no. The reason those shows and everything, one, it's more scary at night. But a big reason is because when you're having like EVP and all those kind of equipment that people use,
Mm-hmm.
you want to have minimal outside interference. So you want things shut down so that because they have to go through those tapes and the videos and the recordings and everything. And they have to eliminate any other sounds to be sure that they are getting genuine spirit activity. Well, it's a lot easier to eliminate other sounds when there are less sounds to eliminate, and that's
Right.
at night. So,
That makes
but no,
sense.
they're awake. No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We go to cemeteries all the time when you do it in broad daylight, and they're busy. We meet lots of people.
Why are only some places haunted?
There's not a block I can't go by. There's not a ghost somewhere.
Well,
There's more activity in some places, but there are ghosts. There are so many ghosts. It's really kind of mind-boggling how many there are.
really?
Yeah, really.
Do you think, though, that every place there's a ghost makes it haunted?
Well, how do you define haunted? If you mean haunted, if haunted means that there's a ghost living there, then yes, then it's haunted. If haunted means that there's a ghost living there who's causing problems, then no, not every place is haunted.
Yeah,
That's the
I think that's the way. That's
Huh?
the way I think. I think that's the way I think of haunting. Because if there's a ghost there and you don't know it, then you don't know it. There's no incident.
Yeah,
So then I guess it just comes down to the ghost.
Exactly. It comes down to the personality of the ghost. Is he upset? Is he active? Is he angry because you're living in his house? Or whatever. There's so many things. For every ghost that's not crossed over, they have because people always ask me, well, why don't they cross over? I'm like, well, everyone I met has a different story. They all have their own reason. And and sometimes I'm doing 20, 50, hundreds at a time. So obviously I don't know all their stories. That would take an awful lot of time. But all the stories I've gotten, it's just fascinating, and they're all different. They fall in certain key categories, but everybody has their own story, same as you and me.
Patty says, "I see ghosts in the hospital all the time."
Oh yeah, I bet she does.
Yeah.
Is she working with them? Are you working with them? You better be working with them, young lady. You know she's supposed to be.
If we see a glim of someone. Wait a minute. So when another comment comes on, it jumps. If we see a glim of someone we love, is that their spirits?
Generally. I mean, sometimes our mind does play, tricks on us, or our deep desires do. But in general, they're trying to say hello, and that doesn't mean that they're a ghost. They very well could have crossed the second veil already, and that's what you want optimally, is that they have continued. But you can see them either way. Well, some people it's easier for others, But yeah, that doesn't mean that they're a ghost. But that you see them, they see them. They're saying hello.
Patty says she sees ghosts in the grocery store too.
Yeah,
I think that's funny.
If you think about how much electricity is running through a grocery store, all those freezers and refrigerators and lighting and and then all the people. Oh, that's an excellent location.
I never would have thought of that in a million years.
In a grocery store.
Cindy said, "I believe I am more visited by ghosts at night because my boundaries/guard drops when I'm tired and trying to rest."
Okay, so if you are prone to that kind of thing, wearing aqua aura is a nice stone to kind of keep that at bay. Aqua aura, AQUA, aura, AURA. It's quartz with gold fused onto it, so it's this beautiful blue color. I would not get the polished kind. Get a rough stone, but get a pendant. If you just get a stone, just stick it in your bra. If you have a bra, if you don't have a bra, then put it in your pocket. Or get a pendant that you can wear around your neck. That'll help. It's not 100% foolproof, but it definitely will help mitigate. And spraying rose oil, spritzing rose oil in distilled water, a few drops of distilled water, that helps. And just say your prayers and talk to your guides. Again, talk to your guides, say, hey, when I'm tired, could you please, please, I'm asking you to, kind of keep that at bay. I can't always, I'm always not on top of my game. And when I'm tired, I don't want to deal with it, or it makes me uncomfortable, whatever is true. Talk to them.
How can you see them if you want to and you don't?
Define see.
Well, like she said, she can see them in the grocery store.
Okay, so, okay, but the question is, how do I see them if I want to see them? But do you want to see them with your 3D eyes, or do you want to see them with your inner eye?
I think for me personally, it would be my inner eye, but for anybody else, I don't know. I was just a general question. I thought, because I thought maybe some people
that was your question?
Yeah, because I thought some people would want to know.
Okay, all right. So 3D eye, that's a whole different story. But so your inner eye, like anything else, when you're in contemplation, you're centered, and you're being present. Nice slow breaths, and allowing. Notice what's around you, and it's a matter of paying attention, opening that eye. And it takes practice sometimes to get there. And so it's a simple thing. Really, it's a simple thing. We're born being able to do it, but because of our materialistic lifestyle, we kind of shut that all down. But like children, they see them all the time. It's easy for them because they haven't learned to shut it down. So it's not a difficult thing to do. You just have to open that door again.
Okay. All right. So, Carol says, Carol says, why are they stuck on the earth plane?
Well, again, there are many, many reasons. Like that story I just told you about the father waiting for his daughter.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're afraid because perhaps they've done something in their life that they're concerned they may have to go get punished for. So they don't want to go. Perhaps they're waiting for somebody. Perhaps there is something here that they're attached to. Perhaps they have a cause that they're really, passionate about, and they want to see it through. Maybe there's a loved one here, or a thing, an object that they're attached to that they don't want to let go. They can be confused, kind of mentally confused. A lot of times they don't even realize that they're dead. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with somebody who had like a serious illness like cancer or something, that they were in so much pain for so long that as they faded away, their body faded away, they didn't realize it, and they were still thinking they were still in their body. And they had been, they had gotten so accustomed to being in that fog of pain that they didn't even know they were dead.
Interesting.
When we give people drugs, morphine and all this stuff that gets them out, that does confuse things, So it would behoove us to do a better job of explaining to people, through that process, hey, remember to do this. When you're done, you're done. You don't have to be sick anymore, or whatever. I mean, obviously everybody's different, but it would be helpful to explain that to people. If they're going to be on morphine or whatever, go look. That's going to muddle things. So just keep, give yourself that pointer, that reminder, and that, hey, oh yeah, okay, I'm done.
Right. Can ghosts, this is kind of like a two-part question. Can ghosts attach to us? I lived in a 200-year-old house last year that was full of ghosts. There was a disturbing energy there. Could I have brought any of them with me to my new home?
Yes, they do sometimes come with you. For whatever reason, they like you. You've got something that they want. They don't like the new people coming into the house. There are a lot of reasons they could come with you, yes. They don't always, but they can. You said it was a two-part question. What was the second part?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was long.
Okay.
So easy, short. Let's see. Do they speak a specific language? How do they talk to us?
Again, it can be words that we can discern, as vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, it's a knowing, it's a knowledge. They'll show you things and try to point things out, and there are many ways to communicate. So whatever is going to work, some of them are like really powerful, and they know how to type on a computer, or they know how to, write on a wall or whatever. Those are some serious things. But, there are a lot of ways they can do it. My uncle, I'll tell you something cool. My uncle, he passed in the Philippines, and because it was, they had to do an autopsy and everything, so it took like 3 months. It took a long time to get the body home. So one night, my aunt gets woken up at like 2:23 or some odd hour. Her cell phone went off. The alarm on her cell phone went off, and she's like, what the heck? Why would my alarm go off at this time? So in the morning, she asked her daughter, did you mess with my cell phone? Did you set the alarm for 2:23 this morning? And her daughter's like, no, I don't even know how to do that. So this was obviously a while ago, because now kids know how to do everything on your cell phone. And so she was like, okay, well, that was just some weird thing. She got to work, checked her email, and there was a bill of lading from 2:23 from the transport company that the coffin had arrived in Texas at 2:23 that morning.
Wow.
So my uncle, he was like, hey, honey, I'm home, because he used to apparently always do that when he would come home. He'd always say, honey, I'm home. So he used her cell phone. He used the alarm on her cell phone to say, hi, honey, I'm home.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that, I just love how this conversation is just kind of flowing with the questions. If the ghost believes they can be, wait a minute, more of help to loved ones. Oh, if the ghost believes they can be of more help to loved ones still here in physical form, is that true? Or would they actually be able to help more from the other side?
It only makes more sense that they can help more from the other side. They think that they're staying here to help, but their access to the power that they have, the energy that they have, and the access to the beings that they would have if they cross over is much more powerful. So they have to trust. They have to trust in God, trust in angels, trust that they can let go of their material, physical being, and be of much more help, much more effective at helping if they cross the second way. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
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 That's it.
And I've seen that so many times, like somebody's grandma or whatever, and I say, she's, oh yeah, look at her, she's over there, petitioning the education department, like my granddaughter needs help or whatever, because she's, I'm making it earthly sounding, but they can find things, access to things, because the resources, your universe is infinite. Infinite
Which
beings,
is a beautiful thing.
Infinite help.
It's a beautiful thing. There's no more questions, so I'm just asking them if they have anything else that they want to say.
Okay. Where are we time-wise? We've got a few more minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Shannon says, has my stepfather crossed over? Is he still hanging around?
He's like on the ceiling. He's like right at the veil. Like, so if you're floating, he's floating. So if the veil is here and he's floating up against that, he's face down, but he's up against it. So he's thinking about it. He's getting there. Yeah.
You were saying that in the hospital, maybe we should tell them more about how things are going to be. And it just occurred to me, maybe it's something like that should be talked about in health class or
Hmm.
something else, for people. So they
Which, yeah,
know.
we need to do a better job of educating ourselves about who we really are,
Yeah.
about our eternal selves. This is just a weekend away.
Right.
This is not the real deal. And
Right.
while we're talking about ghosts, there are animal ghosts too, and
Oh yeah,
dogs.
we were going to ask that. The cats, I had shortly after my cat died, that she would always lay on my bed just out of my reach.
Hmm.
And one night I was just sitting in my bed reading a book, and I looked over, and there, right where she would lay, there was an indentation.
Yeah,
So that was kind of cool.
yeah. Yeah, I know. Sometimes like I'll be in bed and I'll like move my move my leg and I'm like, oh man, get off of there. And I think it's the cat or whatever, and I'm like, huh. And then I'm like, no, he's not even there. It's somebody else who's on my bed, and sometimes there's a whole bunch on my bed, and I'm like, come on over here.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I at somebody's place we were working at some horses and there was a ghost there, and a ghost horse, and he wanted to come home with me for a while, which was fine. I'm like, okay, I do live in town, so just I don't have any pastors or anything for you. But if back there, it's you're fine back there, but
How long did it stay?
not very long, a few days, But you just wanted to, and I'm happy to. It doesn't bother me. I have lots of beings that they want to come home with me for a while, and I know that they just, they're in process, they're learning, they want to, maybe ground themselves a little more in this whole concept, and so because all the guides that are around, that of my guides, and so maybe they feel comfortable with them, and so they're like, I'm gonna hang out with you guys for a while and learn a little bit before I take that leap, and so that's good. It's part of their process. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
that's wonderful.
I'm happy for them to do that. Anything, whatever it takes.
Okay, wait a minute. Can a soul continue their important ascension work in ghost form, or is their work stalled during that time?
They're pretty much stalled. I mean, you can do some work, obviously. Like I just said, that you can be learning and engaging with beings, but you gotta make that jump. You gotta cross over and let it go, because it's like learning to swim. I mean, you can hang out at the side of the pool and watch the other swimmers and take classes and practice your stroke and everything, but you got to get in the water. You got to get in the water to learn how to swim.
Good analogy. Okay, I think we might be done.
All right, well, that was fun. I love this. I just love their stories, and I just love hanging with them, and I love sometimes freaking them out. Sometimes they work and they're like, who are you? Are you a person? You can't be a person because persons can't see me. But you're not a ghost. What are you? What are you?
And you're being so nice. What is our topic next Sunday?
Heck if I know. We got to pick one.
Hmm?
Pick one. I haven't gotten that far. I have been so overwhelmed. And the question from Wednesday, I haven't had a moment. I will look at that. I will get to that.
Okay.
I have not had any.
I'm not worried about it.
So so I haven't. We don't have a topic for next Sunday. So
okay. Well,
when I can figure that out, or I'll figure it out, or you figure it out. Somebody will figure it out, and we'll send it out there. What about for Wednesday? Oh, so for Wednesday though, this Wednesday we have adjusting to higher vibrations.
Yes, that's going to be good.
That's this Wednesday on the radio.
Om.
All right. Good night, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy week.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Namaste. Oh, wrong mouse. I did it again. Good night.
Good night.